in New York.
All right. Sounds like you guys are ready. Yeah, no, you guys sound like you're definitely ready. So let's go ahead and start with number 1. If you don't have it down, you can make sure to fill it in as we go. All right, so number 1, who's ready for that?
Me.
Polymerase chain reaction. Brian.
It is a thing that produces DNA sequence in just an hour.
In just an hour. It produces
billions, millions and billions.
Millions and billions.
It produces millions and billions of DNA sequences. Good, in just an hour. So, why would I need this technique? When would it be useful? Seth.
Maybe copying a specific segment of DNA.
In genetically modified crops. Okay. That's an interesting thought. Does anybody want to add to Seth's idea? Carson?
What was the question?
Number 2. When or why is it useful to use PCR?
Crime scenes.
That is useful when you are trying to make a living thing quick and clear.
Okay, not exactly. Ryan, what were you going to say?
Crime scenes.
Crime scenes. So, with crime scenes, the DNA, there'll be samples of DNA left at the crime scene. If I'm an investigator and I'm taking that sample of DNA, say there was just 1 droplet of blood. PCR lets me make a whole bunch of DNA based off that 1 little droplet of blood that I found. Or say I found just 1 strand of hair. That's a small sample. So PCR, I can take the DNA and then amplify it and get millions or billions of copies. So PCR is useful when I have a small sample and I need more. Make sure you guys have that for those who are saying they weren't done for the warm-up.
You know what I don't like?
PCR is useful if I have a small sample and I need to get more of that DNA.
No. What I don't like.
Alex, you want to help me out with number 3?
No, I just have a question.
What's
It's
your
like,
question?
it's kind of irrelevant, but it's like, you know how somebody could get like killed in a house?
Killed in a house?
Yeah, isn't it like, do they still sell that house?
Yeah.
Like, so you're living in
That's what
a
I like
house
about
that
you.
somebody's like,
Have you never
Been
seen
murdered in?
550? They found
Yeah,
a dead person in
they would definitely still sell the house. They would, I'm sure they would clean it and everything. I don't think they would advertise that someone had died in the house. Do they? Legally? I'll take your word for it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I know you wouldn't be able to hide in this house. Yeah.
somebody's been like murdered.
Alright, whoa.
I mean, it's fine.
A lot of chatter, bring it back.
I'm sorry, that was my fault.
No, you're good. That's a valid question. They definitely will sell the house. I'm not sure how they go about letting you know if somebody died or not. I doubt they would be advertising it. Yeah. Alright, let's go on. Alright, I'll wait till you guys are quiet before we start number 3. Okay, so what's a primer? Who can help me out with that? Nathaniel.
It is a short segment of DNA that acts as a starting point for a new strand.
It acts as a starting point for a new strand. Alright, so just to explain what Nathaniel just said, DNA polymerase, or I actually said, why is it needed for PCR? Let me say that first. Katie?
The PCR can't make a new strand.
Yes, close. So the polymerase, DNA polymerase, make sure you guys are listening because this is part of the warm-up and you guys said you didn't finish. So PCR, or the primer is needed for PCR because DNA polymerase can help build DNA, as you guys already know, we've been talking about that, but it can't start a strand of DNA. So the primer is that start. That's like the beginning of a bookend is what they said in the book. And it can start after the primer exists. All right. Any questions for the warm-up?
Wait, what was the second part?
So first part, the primer is a short segment of DNA. The second part would be that it's needed because DNA polymerase cannot make a strand if there's no starting point. Okay, so today, guys, what we're gonna do is the gel electrophoresis. I know yesterday you guys did the web quest to give you an idea of what we're doing today.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So we're doing a lot.
So we decided to press forward. I feel like there's a lot of chat.
Yeah, my boyfriend.
All right. So we decided to press forward and continue with the lab. They still, Miss Sen was saying that the supplies we order are on back order until April 22nd. And in the words of Sue Brown, ain't nobody got time for that. So we're not waiting until April 22nd. We're just going to go ahead and use the supplies that we have.
We got 3 of the 5.
Yeah, we have 3 of the supplies.
We'll make it stretch.
So with that being said, resources are limited. So there is very little room for error when you guys are doing these, when you guys are filling the wells, Danny.
So please listen and watch.
All right, so I'm going to review how to use the micropipettes. You guys practiced last week, but I'm going to give you a refresher course because what's going to end up happening is each person at the table is going to fill in at least 1 well. And you guys are going to be working at your table instead of the groups of 3 like you did last time.
At least 2 of the 6 groups poked through the bottom inadvertently. So it's difficult to get it in there and not
How do you poke through the
Watch
bottom?
what she does.
Let me grab a tip.
I'm going to grab the DNA next to her. Or that gel.
All right. So just to recap, I'm holding the pipette, 4 fingers beneath, my thumb goes on the top. What I'm going to do is I press down to the first stop. Remember that? There's 2 stops. I press down to the first stop. I'm going to insert it into the tube and release. All right? Once I release, to take up the sample, here's a practice gel that I have. I'm going to go ahead and insert it into the 3rd well. For this, make sure you guys are listening. I still hear a lot of chatter. And I don't want you guys messing this up. So we're going to start from left to right, just like you read a book. The well number 1 would be on the left side. Well number 2, 3, 4 would go accordingly. So I'm going to use the same technique I told you. I'll put my elbow to the table. I'll even hold my arm for support. And then I'm going to slowly, just like the game of Operation, I'm sure you guys are very familiar with it.
Yeah.
You really don't want to touch the edges too much, and you don't want to penetrate to the bottom. So I'm going to carefully, I'm using my hand for support again, carefully insert it into the well, and I'm going to press down to the 2nd stop.
Why is it so bad if you mix the well?
Why? That's a great question. So why is it bad if I mix the wells?
Because
We have samples of DNA. So we're going to have the sample from the crime scene. We have a sample from suspect number 1 and a sample from suspect number 2. So if I mix the DNA, that's why we're going to switch pipettes. If I mix the DNA, I'm going to be getting suspect number 1's DNA into number 2. And that's going to mess up the results if there's contamination. So make sure, I'm glad you said that, Rebecca. Make sure, Alex, stay with me. Make sure that you guys switch pipettes in between each person. Because we did have a group in the first period that did not switch. So make sure you're switching the pipette tips between each person to prevent contamination.
I'm curious what's going to happen. What do you think might happen if you have suspect 1 and suspect 2 mixed together?
then your data's going to get mixed together.
So what is it going to look like? The bands will probably have both people in it.
Yeah.
And it's like a pretest.
You have a question?
I was just saying, I was answering his question.
Okay, well he should have asked me the question.
No, he did. I just answered it.
Okay. Okay, so, alright, so Miss Sand and I are going to come around and we'll make sure that you're using the proper pipette techniques as we go. And we'll remind you to switch the pipette tips.
Pipe it up.
Alright, so the second thing,
Pipe it up.
the second thing before y'all start,
Ooh, it's all wet.
what is this?
That's the extra rework on the table.
Oh.
That's alright.
Can we take the gel out?
Yeah, so wait.
Shh, don't do
No
it yet.
one's touching their gel, no one's touching anything right now, so make sure you're putting that on the
Shh,
table.
I'm going to give you gloves, so just chill.
So Miss Sam is going to give you gloves because we don't want to contaminate the gel. When you're taking the gel out, what you're going to
Watch
do,
so you don't break.
You're just going to slide it.
you're going to slide the gel I don't have any gel in here, but you're gonna slide the gel as far as you can towards the beginning, using the outside of the bag.
What would be considered the beginning, the Ziploc part?
Yeah, towards the Ziploc part. And then you will slip the plastic tray into the bag. And you'll try to slide the gel onto the plastic tray.
You can demonstrate with this one if you want, because this is an extra class.
And
Well, here's the thing. Oh, that's what.
I don't see the flavor.
Here, I got it.
You got one?
Are you gonna be?
Alright. So if I have my gloves on,
Can I have a glove?
I'll give you guys.
How come we know that those aren't came in the
Do you have any extra
Just like
straws?
taking it right out of the bag.
Or not.
Yeah, but they don't they come in a box.
Alright, so again, remember, these are fragile. These are not
Gloves somewhere?
These are not sturdy like the rubber ones that you guys were playing with the other day. So you want to be as careful as possible. I have my gel in here.
Watch.
I have my gel in here. All I'm going to do is slide it with my finger closer
Some of
to
you
the
guys are
edge.
not watching because they're putting on gloves. Stop putting on the gloves and watch Miss Gletta.
Sit down. Alright. So I'm sliding the gel towards the opening of the Ziploc bag. And it's kind of wet in there, so it's not going to be that hard. And then I'm going to take the plastic tray. This is important also. I have a picture of it on the board. The plastic tray has one side that has a negative and one side that has a positive. You want to make sure that the wells, where the slits are on the negative side. Okay, so just like the picture, you want them to line up with the negative side. So I'm going to make sure that my tray is aligned the right way. Another important thing is you want to make sure that the wells are going to be face up. So you can slide your glove over the top to make sure you feel the slits, feel the opening of the slits. Otherwise, you're going to poke holes straight into your well if it's upside down.
Is this like real DNA?
Yeah.
Who's?
The samples that you're going to use, yeah.
Who's
Very
it?
Whose is it?
I don't know.
Mine.
Volunteers.
That's weird.
Is it yours?
No, it's not mine. We had to order it. That's what we're waiting for. So all I did, I pressed my tray straight to the table. And I pressed my tray straight to the table, and then I slowly was sliding my gel onto the tray. And again, you want to be careful because you don't want to break the gel. Once you get most of the gel on there, you can pull it out and just keep pushing. And then you'll be ready to go. Are there any questions before we start?
Now I know how it feels.
Nope.
Are these
Alright.
latex?
Say that again, Alec.
Are these latex?
I don't think so. Are you allergic? Really?
No.
Okay.
These are vinyl. They're vinyl.
Alright, bring me that thing. Coming in.
Well, I think.
The vinyl that I'm going to have is going to go, listen. Stop talking. The first one that I come around with is going to be the standard. That's going to go in lane 1, which will be the left one. The second one's going to go, the one that she has is going to be the criminal evidence. That's going to go in lane 2.
Yes.
How do we
And
know?
I'll remind you.
Because I'm still a student, so can we go ahead and do it?
Can we slide it on right now?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So I can make faces in that video?
I would prefer for you not to.
Let's have to be up.
Just one.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Where's the other?
Right now, you should be getting the gel onto your plastic tray. You should be making sure that the wells are on the negative side and that the wells are face up.
When you put it into the well, you got to push to the side. It's going to go in the left well.
Press it, put it down to the table.
So you're going to push it to the first stop.
Ryan, you know you said that,
And then put it down into
recording right there.
and then very
You can pull the tray out
that
now.
first lane. That first well, but don't poke the bottom.
So I just push it in now?
Yeah.
Do it.
Ew. Okay. There you go.
What am I supposed to do?
Iron hearing.
The first one?
Alright, so push it to the first well. Oh, no.
That's why it makes it more important to put it in the right box. That should be wall number 2.
Stop.
Excuse me.
I was just looking at
You don't have to look like that. Alright. You have to look at your
Hold
whole
on.
face.
He hasn't done the first one yet because I ran out.
Oh.
Where do I put it now?
This is the
Sun? Let the sun.
Because it was fixing its time.
Alright, so who's going first? Alright.
It's good. Switch pipette tips and then pass it on to the next person.
How long do I have to stand here?
Is there a yellow one? Are they all
Where are you
there?
pushing across?
See how there's 2 stops? You push through the first stop.
Alright.
Anyway.
The tip down to the cover like that.
Alright, first stop.
Go into the purple and then let it sit.
No, no, no.
Are you pushing
First stop.
Good job. Alright.
Just messed up.
Yeah. So you push this down to the first stop and then let it go.
Small cars. I'm pretty sure.
I've already been called a retard.
Who's the third person? Alex, you ready?
Let's go, Alex. Let's go.
Ready? Get it done to the first stop.
Means mentally incapable.
Alright, who's the third person?
We're not sure.
I gotta shake the stand. I'm scared.
Which way is this?
Are you guys down to your first stop?
Was it all purple?
Got it.
What do I do?
You ready for the third thing?
Yes.
Bam.
These are clean, you're using clean tips, right? You're changing the tips? Yeah, press the button.
Yeah, that's
You got it. Now, this time you can push all the way.
Alright, suspect number 2.
I need my tip.
Scooby-Doo.
Put the tip on.
Yeah, you gotta tell them. She knows table. Table. I'm old man.
Now, stick it in there.
There's so much skin on it.
That's why there's gloves.
My hands are fidgety.
Drop it straight into the water.
Bring your tray.
Ready?
Yeah.
First stop.
It's gonna fit on that groove. Put it in slow because it's liquid. Good job.
Good job. That's really the best.
Mine like spreads out.
You're the one
No, what is it called?
Salt water.
No, there's the one that's liquid.
No, I said it was going.
Ethanamine bromide.
Isn't there one that starts with a B?
That's ethanamine bromide.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, the liquid.
There's also salt water.
Yeah.
I did.
Second table. Somebody from
No, come on.
bring your tray, put your gel in it.
Can we take our gloves off?
Bring that gel.
I'm gonna do this.
Rubber protective
Alright,
against
so
electricity.
it's gonna go right here because it's a shear table. You have to hold it correct, so you're gonna have to put it very slow.
Oh, they all go in the same one?
My arm feels weird.
Look at that gel. Are we allowed to touch it after it's done? Just feel it.
You should have both. Power station. Fun private, not to eat.
Alright, somebody from Carson's group when you're done. Bring your gel and your tray over here.
Guys, do it like.
You want to know what else is fun?
I was gonna say.
Alright, so yours is gonna go up here.
Are we just not going to have it, I'm guessing? Something happened and it was...
Poke the bottom.
No, it didn't even go in. It looks like it went around and stayed in.
But the fourth one works.
Yeah, but the second one, it looks like it hit around and went in.
Go find the one that says crime scene evidence. There's a little vial. Make sure it's got purple in it.
Can you have gloves on anymore?
Yeah, you can take them off.
My hands feel moist. My hands feel
Hey,
moist.
Gabe, there's pipette tips up here if you need them.
And these are sticky.
So wait.
Why are the gloves inside sticky?
No?
Oh, where's the fresh tip?
Up here in a little box, a purple box. Alright, so put everything back on the tray. Show your gloves.
Would someone like a
I've got extras in the deal. Put them on there.
Take your gloves off.
Stop showing up.
Put everything, including your plastic bag, on the tray.
You know you can take those off, right, Ryan?
I can't, but I'm too lazy.
She center.
Stop showing up on camera.
That's so weird.
What do you do?
I wish if they like snap, that'd be the best.
Yes, they won't snap. That's what I did the
Because
first
they're
thing I
cheap.
put on. I was like,
Schools can't afford nothing.
He was like, and then he goes,
This just sucks.
stop.
Where's Whitney?
that's why I did it.
Haley still hasn't sent me back from that.
Alright, I need everybody to return to their seats. Kenny, Alex, Haley,
red matches red, black matches black. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to match it up on this. This happens to have a black on it, and this one happens to have red. So I'm going to just pop it on here.
Can I do it?
No, you're good.
I just want to press the power button.
Alright, so I've got the voltage on, and then I'm just going to...
What's
Is
gonna
there
happen?
gonna be like
Is the
electricity,
black one
like
on all
shoot
the
through the box
Yeah.
and stuff?
And then I'm just going to push the on button, and no one's going to touch this. You can hear it. Can you hear it? No, it's nothing much to watch right now.
I want to see
Before the
it.
end of the class, what you can do before you leave for lunch, the band will start moving down through the gel. Remember that the larger fragments are going to be closer to the negative end, because the larger ones are going to kind of get sifted out first. And then the smaller bands of DNA that have been cut are going to start moving down, and you'll start seeing the bands move down. You're not actually going to see the stripes until tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have to stain them and then de-stain them so that the little bands actually show up. Because you're not going to see a whole lot going on today until you stain them tomorrow.
Wait, but what if we like messed up and we like pushed it all the way through?
Well, I don't see.
No, I'm saying just in
It's like
case.
going up and down.
If you did poke the hole, which I don't see that on these, the DNA would have gone right out the bottom and you would have never had any bands for that lane. But this class did pretty well because there's purple in all the wells.
Yeah, is there like when you get to the other ones, is there like other bands like smaller? Like real size?
They're all about the same size, it's just that some travel farther. So the little bands that you'll see tomorrow, they're all about the same size, it's just that some
Yeah,
travel
but
farther.
why do scientists like, why do they say that it's hard? That wasn't hard at all.
Alright, so, yesterday. Do you want to do the movie or do you want to do the questions? Okay, so we're going to watch a movie that ties in with this. How many people got their questions done yesterday? Questions that were after the
Questions that were after the prompt.
Just you?
Yeah.
Alright.
Osmosis
Yo, what was that?
I was clapping.
That was somebody. Doing something that made God cry.
Did you have two questions?
He was like, making God cry.
Where's my pen go? What the fuck?
Okay, so at this point, your tables should be chair, everything should be on the trays, gloves off and everything. Direct your attention towards the left. We have a short video for you to watch. Oh yeah, so it's not that short. So this is incorporating, this is about a crime. This is about how DNA can get people arrested wrongly. Whoa! There's a lot of talking. Alright. This is a quick movie, 10 minutes, basically about how DNA has wrongfully arrested people because they used to use hair samples instead of actually extracting that DNA from them. And then you'll also see in the video some gel electrophoresis. You'll see them using the DNA fingerprint as the more modern version.
Unusually modern
Self-sense
science. In the late 1980s, DNA testing brought a new level of scientific certainty to America's courtrooms, convicting the guilty.
DNA evidence has helped put hundreds of violent criminals behind bars.
Freeing the innocent.
DNA testing proved they didn't do it.
And calling into question the forensic science that had sent many of them to prison in the first place.
The only physical evidence linking him to the murder has been discredited.